Welcome back, everyone. We've looked through the source material you sent, and today, well, we're tackling a big one. What exactly are the Vedas?
It sounds simple, but yeah, it's surprisingly deep. Most people picture, ancient books, dusty scrolls maybe.
Right, something written down.
Exactly. But the core idea for thousands of years is that the Vedas weren't written. They were purely sound, an oral tradition, like a living library built from sacred
A
vibrations.
living library. And then there's this other layer, this claim that they're authorless.
Yeah.
That really changes things, doesn't it? It's not just old, it's presented as revelation.
Precisely. And to understand any of this, you really have to start with the basic structure the tradition itself uses. There's a hierarchy, a two-tier system for all Hindu texts.
Okay, essential framework time. Lay it on us.
So tier one, the absolute top, is Śruti, literally that which is heard
Heard. Heard by whom?
by the ancient sages, the us. But crucially, they didn't compose it. They perceived it. Ruti is considered divine, eternal, infallible truth. It's exclusively the four Vedas rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, and their core components.
Infallible. Wow. Okay, so that's the bedrock, the ultimate source code? Kinda.
Yeah.
What's the next level down?
That's tier two, Smṛti. And that means that which is remembered. Now, these texts were composed by human minds, by great sages.
Ah, so this is where things like the epics come in. The Ramayana, the Mahabharata.
Exactly. And the Mahabharata, of course, contains the Bhagavad Gita, which is probably the most widely known text outside India. The Puranas also fit here.
Wait, okay. If the Gita is so central for so many people, how is it considered secondary? That seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, it does, but there's a useful analogy. Think of Śruti, the Vedas, as like the constitution of a country. It's the supreme foundational law, unchanging.
Okay, the fundamental principles.
Right. Then Smṛti is like the entire body of laws and statutes passed by lawmakers, the sages, in this case. They interpret and apply the constitutional principles to everyday life and society.
I see. So Smṛti explains and expands on Śruti, but if there's ever a direct conflict,
Śruti wins. The Constitution prevails. It's a framework that allows for adaptation and, new laws without undermining the core foundation. It provides resilience.
that clears things up a lot, actually. Now, back to that authorless idea you mentioned. The term is Apauruṣeya, right? Not of a man.
Yes, Apauruṣeya. This is probably the most mind-bending concept for modern listeners.
So if the sages didn't write it, but only heard it, what does that mean? Who are they hearing it from? And why is it considered objective?
The tradition describes the Anis not as authors or poets, but as seers. The word is right. Through intense meditation and spiritual discipline, they were able to perceive eternal truths.
Perceive them, like
Oh,
discovering them.
exactly like discovering them. They didn't invent these principles or hymns, they uncovered them. Think of it like a scientific discovery.
Okay, like Einstein didn't invent Im-Siri. He figured out a relationship that was already there.
Precisely. That's a great analogy. The Ides are seen as having discovered the fundamental laws of the cosmos and consciousness, and the Vedas are the record of those discoveries. Eternal, objective laws.
Okay, wow. So you have this vast body of revealed authorless truth, and it survived for maybe 3,000 years with no writing. How is that even possible? How did they keep it accurate?
It's genuinely incredible. It relied on the Guru Shishya Parampara, the unbroken chain of teacher and student. But it wasn't just, basic memorization.
No.
No, they developed these highly sophisticated, almost scientific methods of recitation called unpacks. These were like built-in error-checking systems.
Error checking, using sound. How would that work?
They use complex patterns. For instance, one method is jap-paha, the braided recitation. You wouldn't just recite words A, B, C. You'd say A, B, then B, A, then A, B again, then B, C, C, B, B, C. It's this incredibly intricate pattern. Yeah. And there are even more complex ones like Ganapaya. These patterns mathematically ensured that every syllable, every accent was preserved perfectly across generations. The sound itself was sacred and had to be exact.
That level of precision is just staggering. It shows how vital the sound itself was considered. So, bringing this to today, how does this ancient, deep foundation connect with modern Hindu practice? Do people interact directly with Śruti?
Mostly indirectly. Here's a final analogy that might help. Think of Śruti, the Vedas, as the deep, vast, authoritative ocean.
Okay, the source.
Right. Its specific sounds, the mantras, are still used mainly by trained priests in important rituals for purification, for connection to that source. But most people aren't, swimming in the deep ocean daily.
They're interacting with the waves on the shore.
Exactly. The waves are Smṛti. The epics, the stories in the Puranas, the colorful festivals like Diwali or Holi, the everyday prayers and narratives people engage with.
Ah, so the visible, accessible culture.
Yes, the dynamic part of the tradition. But critically, those waves draw their energy, their legitimacy, their power from the deep ocean of Śruti beneath them.
That really paints a picture. So, to recap for everyone listening, the Vedas are fundamentally Śruti, that which was heard, not composed. They're considered Apauruṣeya, authorless, a divine revelation perceived by ancient seers.
And preserved for millennia not by writing, but by an astonishingly sophisticated human supercomputer of oral tradition, these complex recitation patterns.
Acting as the foundational ocean of truth, giving power to the more visible waves of everyday practice and story.
That captures the essence of what they are as a category, I think.
It definitely does. But we've defined the ocean. We haven't really looked inside it yet. You mentioned layers within the Vedas themselves, hymns, rituals, philosophy. What's actually in the source code?
Well, that's the next logical step, isn't it? Unpacking the content itself.
Sounds like our next deep dive, something to really get into.
Agreed. Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep exploring.